Well, how do you do, Millie? Here you are, sitting on Christmas Eve, as lonely as a poor bachelor. Really, I feel sorry to find you like this. Alone in a restaurant, and on Christmas Eve, of all times. It makes me sad. I saw this wedding in Paris once. The bride was reading a comic paper and the groom was playing billiards with the witnesses. Oh, think of it, playing billiards on his wedding day. Yes, you're gonna say she was reading a comic paper. That's a different case, my dear. Thank you. See what I bought for my tots. What do you think of this? Lisa's to have it. Funny, is it not? And here is a pistol for Carl. Did I scare you? Well, you didn't fear I was gonna shoot you, did you? Really? I didn't think you could believe that of me. If you were to shoot me, well, that wouldn't surprise me in the least. I got in your way once, and I know you'll never forget it. But I couldn't help it. You still think I intrigued you away from the Royal Theater, and I didn't do anything of the kind, although you think so. But it doesn't matter what I say, of course. You believe it was I just the same. Well, these are for my hubby. Kittens. I've embroidered them myself. I hate kittens. And he must have them on everything. Just see what small feet Bob has, see? You should see him walk. Elegant. Of course, you've never seen him in slippers. It's ridiculous. Look, here he comes. And then he gets angry and he stamps his foot like this. Blame that cook who can't learn how to make coffee. Or, the idiot! Now that girl has forgotten to fix my study lamp again. Then there's a drought and the floor and his feet get cold. Gee, but it's freezing and this blanket idiots don't even know enough to keep the house warm. And then he comes home and has to hunt for his slippers. Mary has pushed them under the bureau. Well, perhaps it is not right to be making fun of one's own husband. He's pretty good for all that. It's a real dear little hubby. That's what he is. You should have such a husband. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Can't you tell? Then you see, I know my husband is faithful. What in the world makes you look at me like that? That nasty Betty tried to get him away from me while I was on the road. Can you think of anything more infamous? But I'd had scratched the eyes out of her face. That's what I would have done if I'd been home when she tried it. I'm glad Bob told me all about it so I didn't have to hear it first from somebody else. And just think of it. Betty was not the only one. It must be because they imagine his government position gives him something to say about the engagements. Perhaps you tried it yourself. You may have set your trap for him too. I don't trust you very far, but I know he never cared for you, and then I've been thinking you rather had a grudge against him. Amelia, spend the evening with us, won't you? Just to show that you're not angry. Not with me, at least. I cannot tell you exactly why, but it seems so awfully unpleasant to have you as an enemy. Perhaps because I got in your way that time. Or I don't know really. I don't know at all. It was so peculiar. The way our acquaintance... Like, I was afraid of you when I first met you. So afraid that I did not dare to let you out of my sight. It didn't matter where I tried to go. I always found myself near you. I didn't have the courage to be your enemy, so I became your friend. But there's always something discordant in the air when you called her home. I saw my husband didn't like you, and it annoyed me. Just as it does, like, when a dress won't fit. I tried my very best to make him appear friendly to you at least, but I couldn't move him. You know, not until you were engaged. And then the two of you became such fast friends that it almost looked as if you had not dared to show your real feelings before when it was not safe. And later, I didn't get jealous. It's strange, right? You know, I'm thinking of the baptism when you were acting as godmother and I made him kiss you and he did. Both of you looked terribly embarrassed. Now, I didn't think of it then or afterwards. Even I never thought of it till now. Why don't you say something? You've not uttered a single word all this time. You've just let me go on talking. You've been sitting there staring at me, only your eyes have drawn out of me all of these thoughts which are lying in me like silk in a cocoon. Thoughts, bad thoughts maybe. Why did you break your engagement? Why have you never called on us afterwards? Why don't you want to be with us tonight? No. You don't need to say anything at all. All is clear to me now, so that's the reason of it all. Yes. Everything fits together now. Shame on you. I don't want to sit at the same table with you. That's why I must put these hateful kittens on his slippers, because you love them. That's why we have to spend the summers in the mountains, because you can't bear the salt smell of the ocean. That's why my boy had to be called Eskil, because that was your father's name. That's why I had to wear your colors and read your books and eat your favorite dishes and drink your drinks. This chocolate, for instance, why everything was forced on me by you, even your passions. Your soul bore itself into mine as a worm into an apple, and it ate and burrowed until nothing was left but the outside shell and a little black dust. I wanted to run away from you, but I couldn't. You were always on hand, like a snake with your black eyes to charm me. I felt how my wings beat the air only to drag me down. I was in the water with my feet tied together, and the harder I worked with my arms, the further down I went, down until I sank to the bottom where you lay in wait like a monster crab to catch me with your claws, and now I'm there. Shame on you. How can I hate you? I hate you. I hate you. You just sit there silent and calm and indifferent. Whether the moon is new or full, whether it's Christmas or midsummer, whether other people are happy or unhappy, you are incapable of hatred, and you don't know how to love. Like a cat in front of a mouse hole. You're sitting there. You can't drag your prey out, and you can't pursue it, but you can outweight it. Here you sit in this corner. Do you know they've nicknamed it the mousetrap on your account? Here you read the papers to see if anybody is in trouble or if anybody is about to be discharged from the theater. Here you watch for your victims and calculate your chances and take your tributes. Poor Amelia. Do you know? I pity you all the same, for I know you are unhappy. Unhappy as one who has been wounded, and malicious because you're wounded. I ought to be angry with you, but really I can't. You are so small after all. And as to Bob, why, that does not bother me in the least. What does it matter to me anyhow? If you or somebody else taught me to drink chocolate, what of that? They say chocolate is very wholesome. And if I have learned from you how to dress, it's only given me a stronger hold on my husband, and you have lost what I have gained. Yes. Judging by several signs, I think you've lost him already. Of course, you meant me to break with him as you did. And as you are now regretting, but as you see, I never would do that. You wouldn't do to be narrow-minded, now you know. And why should I take what only nobody else wants? Perhaps, after all, I am the stronger now. You never got anything from me. You merely gave. And thus happened to me what happened to the thief. I had what you missed when you woke up. How explain it in any other way that in your hands everything proved worthless and useless? You were never able to keep a man's love, in spite of your kittens and your passions. And I can never learn the art of living from books as I've learned it, and you bore no little Eskil, although that was your father's name. And why do you keep silent, always and everywhere and always and forever silent? I used to think it was because you were so strong. And maybe the simple truth was, you never had anything to say because you were unable to think. I'm going home now. I'll take the kittens with me. Your kittens. You couldn't learn anything from others. You couldn't bend. And so you broke like a dry stem, and I didn't.
Thank you, Amelia, for all your instructions. I thank you that you have taught me how to love my husband. Now I'm going home to him.